to another episode of A Maven's Tale, everybody. I am here with my sisters. Sister, you've been on my mind. My sisters, y'all already know them from the Race in America series, and we will be doing this a lot, so you'll see their faces a lot. So get to know them. Up top, we have Keisha. Hey. We have Keisha, who's trying to act like she's shy. I don't know what that's about.
Hi.
And Shauna, you know her. So today's episode is just a random topic because of the foolishness that we've been watching on the news. What is going on with y'all in some states that think that wearing a mask is the government trying to take your right of free air?
Your God-given good air.
It's God's air. It's God's breathing system. It was God's breathing system.
Yes.
Those were her exact words. It's God's breathing.
It's so weird that these states, the Floridas and the Texas and in California I mean, Florida is the worst. The fact that these people,
oh my gosh,
they haven't taken this thing serious from day one, and their numbers are going up at a rapid rate. Today is just so crazy, and they still don't understand why wearing a mask is so important, to the point where people are actually really challenging wearing a mask. It's just so mind-boggling to me. We've seen doctors wear masks forever. The reason for doctors, I always thought the reasons for doctors wearing masks, especially in the OR, was to prevent the patients that they were doing surgery from contracting anything from the doctors, speaking over them with, droplets coming out of their mouth. So why would we not think that it'll just help with a little reduction in this COVID situation? Yeah, we know the mask isn't going to 100% cover you. You also have to remember, keep your hands off your face, wash your hands, use hand sanitizers. It's called cleanliness. Let's just be clean. Most people practice bad, dirty habits, and these bad, dirty habits is why we're in the position that we're in today. Just wash your damn hands. Wear a mask.
So, Keisha, did you see the doctor that was in Florida? I don't know if you saw her press conference when she said this is political
dogma.
And she said, where did you doctors get your
medical life degree from?
Keisha, you are a registered nurse and have been for a while. What would you say to this doctor if she was in your hospital, or if she was, if you had to report to her?
I promise I was not gonna curse no more. Well, I don't want to lose my job, so if I was in a hospital, I wouldn't want to lose my job. So, I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I think I would just look at her like she's crazy because I didn't want to lose my job.
Yeah.
It's sad, but the sad thing is that, just rewinding it, remember when the CDC was lying to everyone and saying, oh, you don't have to wear a mask.
Uh-huh.
Then last minute they said, oh no, okay, wear a bandana. So they went from saying don't wear a mask.
Something over your mouth.
I truly believe, I think that, not to go on a spiritual level, but I think the devil is really working through people. I really do. I think that the devil is working through people to kill people. And that's another conversation. Mm-hmm. But because for someone to say what she said, like, where did she get her education from? And it's like, even like CNN did every channel did a different, like CNN, NBC, even Fox, they did a demonstration on how we supposed to stand 6 feet. Right. They showed like a dark room, and when you cough, how the green light from the particles, how they reach the person. They said actually without a mask, it could reach 12 feet. Mm. And with the mask on, actually the particles go to the side, so it goes 4 feet to the side. Then they also had a demonstration where two people were sitting like 4 feet apart, talking in their chairs, and they both were inhaling each other's air. So I can't believe that someone is still saying that to this day with all of this, with the pandemic, the way it's been. So I'm confused.
Well, Shauna, you had a COVID basic moratorium behind your house?
Oh yeah, I live I'm around the corner. I live around the corner from a testing site. And they had a sign as folks drive by. They're like, please keep your windows closed. So I'm just like, so if they're telling people who drive by, I'm not going to walk by because I don't have a window. I'm not in the.
You got to walk by. You walking by like this. I got to put it over my head.
I know, but it's just like, look, I understand it is hot. And that mask on just holds the heat in the 90-degree weather.
It makes you miserable.
I get it. It's uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, I know that I live with someone who is over the age of 65. So I want to make sure that if I'm at the store or, if I have to go out, that I'm not a carrier.
Yeah.
You don't bring nothing home. You
don't bring anything home, because I never want that on my conscience that I got her sick. You know what I'm saying?
She won't recover from it.
Exactly. So I just want to make sure that I'm safe for for those that I live with.
Well, I was about to say Chuck.
You could call me. You could call me.
I could call you Chuck. Okay, yeah. I'll call you Chuck.
Yes.
Well, my brother.
Let's speak from my experience.
Was hospitalized for COVID,
and he is a hospital worker who had to deal with the outbreak and not having proper protective gear. So we know there was a PPE issue. And I remember going back and forth with him saying, you do know that you have an underlying condition. You shouldn't be going to work. You're working double shifts. You shouldn't be going to work. Only for him to come home to quarantine because he was at work, to ended up being hospitalized for 10 days, testing positive for COVID-19. And as a diabetic, the normal symptoms that they kept describing, the cough and the fever, and he didn't experience any of those symptoms. What happened is his blood sugar kept spiking and he wasn't eating. So we couldn't even tell by then. That's when we started realizing that the symptoms of the loss of smell and the loss of taste and, the coughing, and that doesn't apply to everybody.
Right.
So for anyone who believes that it's a hoax, it's a Democratic hoax, we're trying to make Trump look bad, it's fake, we're trying to take people's civil liberties away from them. COVID is real. It's real. I can tell you that I have attended 3 Zoom funeral services because people have died.
Yep.
COVID-19.
Yep.
Ended up, one person did go home that I know, and a week later or 2 weeks later died from a heart attack that was related to COVID-19. It's just so alarming. Again, I can't stop stressing the ignorance of the people in Florida, because it couldn't be anything other than ignorance. And yeah, there are people here in the tri-state area that they're still not taking it serious. We're seeing people becoming more relaxed and more comfortable with going outside without wearing a mask. We saw the first warm weekend that we had and the parks was open. people were in Central Park, you know, laying on the grass without a mask.
Without a mask.
Well, they did say that it's actually better outside than it is inside.
Yeah,
However, one thing that I could say about the tri-state, I may not like everything that they have done, but big ups to Governor Cuomo and Governor Murphy.
Yes.
Them bad boys is not playing, and they like, and right now they like, if you are coming from any of them states, you are not allowed over here.
Yeah,
don't come here.
I totally agree, because we do know what the numbers were like here.
Right.
We saw the rate of hospitalizations on a daily basis. We saw the rate of death on a daily basis. We finally have flattened that curve. We do not need to go back up. We're finally in our second phase of reopening.
I'm not trying. I can't go back. I got to get out the house. I cannot go back.
Right. It took Keisha, it took so much for us. We're all so used to being around one another to the point where we're not around one another, and for us that's just like so crazy, because we're always,
we can't even touch. It's just like we always like, hey, you know, we're a loving family. So to be around each other, or to not even be around each other. You asked us today to bring you some food. Look, I'm social distancing.
I'm leaving it on the doorknob.
You know,
I'm leaving it on the doorknob.
You know, she talk about doing like Uber Eats. I am not going to drive all the way to your house and not see you. Okay, not going to happen.
It's just, yeah. Go ahead, Keisha.
Do y'all know that it said that only 2.8% of the people that were protesting for George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement, only 2.8% of them caught the COVID from, and they're thinking maybe it's from the protesting. It could have been before, but only 2.8% of them came into the hospital with COVID symptoms. So that's
I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, well,
you know, for the most part, we did, when it came to the social distancing, because we know it's hard to social distance when we're in a group protesting. But for the most part, most people were wearing
masks.
Yeah. You did see people pull down the mask from time to time to get air, but pushed it back on their face.
Sure did.
Which it does happen. I catch myself doing it where I pull it down just to breathe again. Because, you know, I have other things happening to me at this stage of my life. So wearing the mask is like extra. But again, I don't think I'm gonna go out to the supermarket without a mask. Well, I can't even get in the supermarket.
Right, you can't even,
You can't even come into my building
without a mask.
Where I live without a mask.
I saw a video yesterday with a woman in Trader Joe's screaming about, you know, because they asked her to leave, she wasn't wearing a mask, and she was just cursing and carrying on, and she says she has a health condition, and her doctor says that she shouldn't wear a mask, and I'm like, well, what health condition, a breathing condition does she have? Because those lungs, I tell you, we're truly working.
And of course, the screaming holler.
The way she was pulling the back. She was pulling the back. Oh, y'all know how it's yelling, right?
No, it was what state? What was it?
I don't remember what state. There was also another incident with a Starbucks, and the woman was really rude to the young man in Starbucks, and they created a GoFundMe account just for him having to deal with this woman being so rude to him.
And he got like thousands of dollars now.
Wow.
He's only doing his job, but why are you one that's doing their job? I don't understand what is so hard with covering your face. Last week I went into Cold Stones, and 2 young girls came into Cold Stones. I was a little upset with them because they didn't have a face mask, but what they did, this is what they did when they came in, they were like this. And they ordered their ice cream with their t-shirt over their face to order, because
I mean, at least that's,
but at least they were thinking about
it. In New Jersey, they don't let you in.
Right. They were I'm surprised they got into Cold Stone without the face mask, but I think because they did make sure that they covered their face.
Right.
They still served them. But again, if you don't want to wear the mask, get a bandana.
No, this is my thought. And I say this with all the love in my heart because I do believe in God. But if you don't want to wear a mask, die.
Well, I don't.
Die. No, I'm so serious because I've seen what it can do to people. And here talking about your God-given right. Your God-given right is the word says to esteem your neighbors higher than yourself. So that means if you are willing to put your neighbor at risk because you don't want to wear a mask, die.
Well, this is the thing.
I agree. I agree.
These are the people that you say, well, if they do start to get the symptoms, they need to stay in their damn house and don't go to the hospital. Because
exactly.
Go take up a bed.
Exactly.
Don't have the doctors work on you when they could be working on someone else with another ailment when you were socially irresponsible, because now you're being socially irresponsible. I've been watching the news. I try not to as much as I normally would, but every day I've been seeing a different story. It's people go to 16 people went out to celebrate their friend's birthday.
And all 16 got it.
16 ended up sick. And they heard from other people who was at that bar get sick as well. So that only means that the workers in the bar, someone had to have been sick. And we know it comes back to the whole washing of the hands. Because people, again, still have bad habits. We still see people coughing. You don't cough in your hands, you cough in your sleeve.
My son did a video about that 2 years ago, and he was 4. He was 4 at the time.
And getting the snooze to squirt your soda in a glass, or doing it with the beer and then handing it to you. And we know how to
take it with your hand.
You touch it with your hand. Then you shake some. It's just.
I'm gonna say this, and listen, here I go again, because at this point, these people on the news, especially the lady that's talking about, you know what, I don't wear a mask the same reason why I don't wear panties.
But why did she feel the need to tell us that she don't wear panties? Like, why did we need to know that?
She said, I don't wear masks the same reason why I don't wear underwear. Because I gotta let things breathe.
What was her reason?
She has to let things breathe. But I'm gonna say this. Some of us, when the pandemic happened, we already had cleaning supply. We already had paper towels and Lysol, because we like our houses to be clean. But then when I would go to the supermarket just to buy regular things like strawberries, like milk, yogurt, eggs, you saw people literally taking their entire arm on the shelf to put hand soap and
strawberries,
antibacterial into their cart. I'm just like, how nasty can you be? I keep it in my car. I keep it in my purse. I keep it in my bathrooms. Where do you people come from? What barn did you people grow up on?
Right, it goes back to who raised you.
The barn.
Basically.
The barn.
Basically. But who knew that when all of this started, that the thing we would need, the thing that was the thing that we all were searching for was toilet paper. Like, how was that? Like, I still to this day, how did Corona go with toilet paper?
The toilet paper means everything.
Figured that there was a fear of not being able to wipe their bum.
I guess. I don't know. It's just like, how did the toilet paper thing become a thing?
Do you guys remember that show, Doomsday Preppers?
No, you be talking about
you know these shows. We don't be watching these shows like you.
What year that came out?
Yeah, what was that?
You all do know that on the law I'm a cool nerd, right?
We know she watches everything.
And I read everything. It's bananas. But Doomsday Preppers is a show that used to come on a few years ago, and it's people who prepare for doomsday.
Oh, doomsday. Okay, I get it. Okay.
And you know, these are people who have like fallout shelters in their home.
I heard about that show.
Up on, you know, all of these things. And I remember after 9/11, we had doomsday kits in the office and like these different things that in case we, you know, we were stranded foods to eat. And just the thought of, oh my gosh, what if it really got to the point where we didn't have access to, you know, get stores to buy stuff. And after seeing what happened in the supermarkets, when, you know, we found out about COVID and we, you know, decided when the governor decided that we were going on a lockdown,
right,
and see how people were shopping, I started to panic like, oh my gosh, maybe I should have been doomsday prepping all along, because something as simple as toilet paper and paper towels, we could not get in the stores.
Yeah. I mean, we never would. My husband is a natural.
Your husband is a doomsday prepper.
Yes.
So we didn't need anything, but there was this meme that I saw that said that I would, when I used to go to the bathroom, I do my roll of toilet paper like the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Just like then after COVID, I do it like I'm doing a combination lock.
You counting squares.
You counting squares.
I have not counted yet. We won't run out of toilet paper for another good, I'd say, year.
But I mean, I saw this guy. It was at them at a Walmart, and he was upset that they wouldn't allow him in because, again, he didn't have on a mask. But he took it out on the
workers.
Yeah, and it's just like that's their job. They're just doing what's told. So he got all upset and he started them to push him and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm just like, it's not his fault. It's Walmart that said you must wear a mask. If you don't feel that need, go take your business someplace else.
Yeah, right the home office and fire.
Exactly.
You know,
but you're getting all of upset at the Starbucks guy.
That's
the Walmart person. It's not your fault.
That's when you kind of want to jump the person that's going off. Because not only are you going off and you're wrong, but you're going off for no reason on the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like these are quote unquote essential workers.
Can you imagine
coming back to work?
Can you imagine that the people who work in the Targets and the Walmarts and the ShopRites and the Key Foods and all of the supermarkets are essential workers? These are people that people have frowned upon
all this time.
And I say thank you every time I see thank you.
Yes, right. You need to be thanking these people who, because some of these people are parents that left their kids at home when they should have been at home homeschooling their children.
And had no one to take care of their kids.
And they were there to make sure that they were able to check you out with your groceries and all of your needs that you needed to take home. Why would you be nasty to this person who showed up to work?
But I'm wondering, what are people really thinking? Like, why do people think that this is a joke? Because you must think it's a joke if you don't want to wear your mask.
It's a 5-letter word. It's a cuss word. TRUMP.
Well,
right. You're right.
Yeah, between him and Pence, because they're not wearing masks. And, you know, as a leader, Kaya, we spoke about this. As a leader, you have to set an example for your people to follow. For Trump to say that the reason why our numbers seem high is because we're doing more testing.
Right.
Dude, are you serious?
So the people that's going into the hospital, they have the virus.
But did you see that when he did that, he wanted to be slick and do that campaign or rally in Tulsa on Juneteenth, and that got shut down. But he made everybody sign a waiver.
Right, to say if you get it, that you can't sue us.
But bigger than that.
And had them take down the signs for the recent one that he did that says social distancing. He had them take down those social distancing signs because he didn't want that up.
But bigger than that, how about, why would you listen to someone who gets tested twice a day?
Exactly.
He gets tested twice a day. Why are you people listening to someone that is tested twice a day? And he's getting tested twice a day because his dumbass isn't wearing a mask. So why are you people listening to him and his rhetoric? The fact that, you know, people really believe, it's the media trying to make him look bad and it's fake news. What the fake news is, anything that comes out of his mouth, it's BS. I don't know what it will take. I don't know if it's going to take Pence or Trump contracting the virus, ending up on the respirator, ending up on the ventilator. Because Rand Paul was a doctor who wasn't promoting the mask and social distancing and still ended up testing positive.
Right.
And that still didn't do anything for anyone because he's still not promoting it.
Because he didn't have it to the degree that some other people have it. Everybody's symptoms are different.
Everything with them comes back to their bottom line, and their bottom line is always dollars. And it's unfortunate, the ignorance of people who are not in their social bracket, financial bracket, listening to them.
Political bracket.
They're in their political, but they
No. Because if anything was to go down today, they got bunkers for Trump, Pence, and everybody else. All of us,
we just ass out.
Well, remember
we just ass out.
They got places to go. We ain't got no place to go unless did you build a bunker that I don't know about? Did you build a bomb shelter that I don't know about?
And I hope it could fit all of us because you know it's a lot of us.
We're gonna be like this. Move over, I can't move your arm.
It's a lot of us, so I hope we go all fit.
But it's very unfortunate to see that there's such an argument over wearing protective gear to protect yourself. You may not have thought of getting yourself tested, so you could be one of these asymptomatic people walking around making other people sick. The mask isn't about you. Again, come on, just do it for the people next door. Do it for the lady with those 5 children outside playing every day, because what we've learned is that this is not a sickness that only attacks the 65 and older. We've noticed that the majority of people that's been testing positive of lately has been that 20-year to 40-year-old age range.
Yeah.
Those kids, I think they were from Ohio or Iowa, who went to Florida and they all went back home testing positive. Those were kids.
And this is my thing, and I think it sums it up perfectly. Be inconvenienced temporarily so that we can have a permanent fix.
Right.
But temporary inconvenience does not equate to someone's life being forever taken away. You know what I'm saying? You can't bring somebody back if they pass away from your negligence.
It's just as simple as the woman saying about this God's beautiful air. if you want to
God's breathing system.
But if you want to continue enjoying God's
where do they get these people from?
But it's simple. If you want to continue enjoying God's beautiful breathing system, just do this for now so that we can get to our new normal, because we do know that there's going to be a new. Remember, just a month ago, everybody was talking about preparing for a second wave.
Yeah.
We're still in the
first wave. Right. We're still in the first part.
I don't even know if there's going to be a quote unquote second wave,
because
it's constantly going on.
Do you notice that the states that are affected now are the states that were kind of looking at us sideways when we were going
where we shut down? Yep.
Now they
probably want to borrow our ventilators that we had to get. They probably want that ship that came to New York. They probably want that ship to go and dock over there, you know, to help them with their cases, their COVID cases.
Also to, not to make it a race thing, but I noticed that a lot of people, once they found out it was the Black culture that was getting mainly affected, that's when people started not taking the pandemic seriously. And they wanted business to open back up, and they wanted, you know, so.
I agree. But one thing that I think you and me and you, Cho, were talking about last night, when it first started happening, I was thinking about what's going on with the kids in the detention camps, the migrant camps, or the migrant jails.
The jails.
What's going on with them? But they said, I saw an article saying that they have to release them
now.
They were already in horrible conditions.
Right.
And now you have this outbreak. Like, I can only, and this is my thing, what you go through as a kid, you never forget when you get older. And you're basically kind of making people on the lines of terrorists, because they're like, America did this to me and my family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
They had me like an animal. You know what I'm saying? This is what America did to me. Not an administration. This is what America did.
America, right.
So now you have all these children that God knows what happened. I know that there was sexual misconduct going on. I know that there was all kinds of brutality going on with them kids. And now we have a pandemic. God knows if they're even rendering aid to them, because they're like, you're not an American citizen. You're here illegally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Now
what?
Yeah.
Ask out.
I think the bottom
line is vote. You vote is in November, because we gotta get rid of.
Okay, well, this whole thinking of November is kind of scary. It's so funny because most of us watched Scandal and thought that watching Scandal was like far-fetched, and it was great entertainment, but can't you just see something being rigged to make sure that he stays where he's at? Look, I mean, we just saw what happened in Kentucky on the 23rd.
No, did they get the results in? Did the results come in?
It's not the point. It's the fact of the matter is the number of polls.
Oh yeah, they only had like 200 or something.
But did you see them banging on the door like, no?
Oh yeah.
But remember now. Remember, the polls close at a certain time. And we would like to tell people, stay in the line because you're going to get through.
But will they keep the doors open for all the people?
That was voter suppression.
Still online.
That is a Mitch McConnell state. And y'all already know how I feel about Mitch McConnell. And that was his.
I don't think you're alone.
That was his.
You're alone in that.
That they were doing the primaries for.
So what does that tell you?
He a low down dirty dog. That's what Sealy said. about Mr.
In the color purple.
Your low down dirty dog.
So that's a clear indication of what will happen come November.
Lord Jesus, help us.
Oh yeah, that was just one state.
I hope by then, because it's June.
Mm-hmm.
I hope by then that we are at a place where, yes, we still should wear masks in a large crowd. We still should do the 6 feet, which I'm not too upset about, especially in the restaurants, because I live I'm in New York, so it's like
this.
all the restaurants,
You ain't got
people,
no place to put your purse.
This close together. So I mean, if it's now apart now, I'm not mad at that.
And I'm not mad at it either, because some people don't know how to keep their personal to keep out of your personal space.
Yeah.
Now this makes you you got 6 feet. You know.
I'm gonna keep social distancing after all of this is done.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a problem with social distancing because I never like people in my personal space. My favor. So I think that I would have less arguments with people in the street for being up on
you. Yeah.
Especially checking out at the supermarket when I'm trying to put my PIN number and I'm like,
and you like on there, you like right up on you, and it's just like, if you don't move back.
I have a thing about people being in my personal space, so I am a fan of social distancing.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for social distancing.
Yes.
If you're at the ATM and they too close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, back up off me. Can I say, with this whole like the mask thing, it's like as soon as I walk in the door, it's like you take off your bra and you take off your mask. It's just because it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
I'm free.
I can't. When I get in the car, I have to take it down. If I'm outside,
it's hot.
I literally feel like I'm gonna die, because you already know I got these autoimmune issues already, and I'm already sensitive to heat. So when it's hot and then I have a mask and it's just going right back, I feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't talk to me. How can I help you? Listen, just give me a second. You know,
I need a minute.
You know, is the air on in here? Like, just give me a minute. I can't do it. So what's the moral of the stories, ladies?
Wear your mask. Wear your mask.
Or die.
Wash your hands.
Or die.
Wear your hands. Wash your mask. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. It's easier to wear a mask than to be on the ventilator. So you have
yes.
A mask or a ventilator.
Right.
It's a ventilator, and then they might check on you, and then they might not.
Yeah. You should do a T-shirt like that, like show a person with a mask on, and then show a person with a ventilator on, and you say, "You choose."
Your choice.
Choose this day.
Okay, so I'm gonna age myself with the egg. This is your brain.
Oh yeah, this is your brain on drugs.
It's your brain on drugs.
Right.
You choose.
Yeah.
You choose.
I love it.
Basically.
I think that should be the title of the show.
Mask or ventilator?
Mask or ventilator.
Strange. I love it. Until next time, my loves, thank you for watching A Maven's Tale. I'm glad I got my sisters. I got all my sisters with me. Oh, let me not say that, because
you
get offended.
Exactly.
Shout out to our sisters that are not here. Shout out to all our sisters that are not here. We love you. Anyway, so next time, thank you to my guests, Keisha, Shauna, and Keisha. Everybody has a story to tell. We've been listening to his story for a long time. It's time we hear her story.
Amen.
Tell your own story. All right. See you next time on A Maven's Tale. Love you guys.
Love you too.